Eyes go blind in a million sockets. This life's unkind and she's killing the softest. Can't sleep at night cause her voices are talking about something I wrote. I'm clutching my throat, gasping for air. I won't choke, I can't bleed, I can't die, I won't scream if I lose everything. Don't follow the flesh, approval, decrypt a bloody knuckle till I break out the sarcophagus. This terror wears in nights. Our courage never enough. Your water from my well, I'm purified. Burning on my brain, it's chemical. Never been afraid, I'm terrified now. I use the fear as an antidote. Gotta raise my brain up, gotta raise a break, break, break through the fetters and the chains. I see my mind's eye blind to the grace. Take, take what they never give away. I find the peace at the price of the pain. Burning on my brain.
What's going on?
Hi.
Whoa. Very nice green screen effects. This is an odd evening, all right. I'm already feeling weird because hello, everybody out there in BC WrestlePod land. Welcome to the Bro, the Biconics Review of Honor. We are so excited to be here, but we are obviously in mourning today. Not only for James Earl Jones, who passed away this week, which voice of a generation, voice of everything else, where we would love to, just pay our respects to him because he shaped us in so many ways. But also, our friend Andrew has taken his sabbatical, and he's no longer with us as well. So we're losing people left and right.
Let's clarify. He still is alive.
I mean, physically, I assume so. Inside his soul, without having wrestling with us all the time.
That was never a question. That's been dead.
But this is the second week of his sabbatical. He wasn't here last week. What are you talking about?
I don't remember that, Mikey. I totally remember him being here last time when it was just you and me and Jesse and me and Jesse. Anyway.
Sure, fine.
We're so excited to have you here along with us on our live stream tonight on a Friday, talking about Thursday night, about Ring of Honor from Honor Club episode 81. And if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button with us, get those alert bells going so you can make sure you get all of our content of different types of feds we all review. Tonight, we're going to just go over our feelings, our thoughts, whether we're still being kicked in the nuts every time we watch ROH together, because obviously they just can't seem to figure out how to make just a little bit, I know. And we'll be bringing you that there, but we want your comments as well in those comment section, I guess. I'm going to preface here. I have gotten my COVID shot and my flu shot simultaneously about an hour ago. It's hitting me, so we're going to see where I go with this and see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting night. Yes, I'm keeping you safe.
If you need to duck out, I can cover you.
I bet you can. Anyway, geez, he's got my face anyways. We'll jump in right away because ROH, again, Mikey and Jesse, they still seem to be in this kind of like nebulous area where there's a couple of peppered Texas matches that are here and there, but they seem to be in this new area. I think they filmed in either in Britain or at least somewhere else in the area that would be able to have them have this residency again, but they haven't mentioned where they are. Do we have an update? Do people figure out where we're actually coming from now? Or?
There were some matches from Texas. I know Caprice had mentioned that.
Definitely. And also a big shout out to our person who is in our comments right now. Hi there, Andrew. If you have anything you want to talk about, please let us know. But in general, we started the night off in an interesting way, I would think, because we had our television champion on our screens, but not defending his belt. It was just kind of a regular match. And we got to see Pretty Peter Avalon, who hasn't been on in a while. And I always forget how much I enjoy his character work when he does work. Not the most high-paced match. There was a couple of false starts. Do either of you feel like Peter Avalon needs to have a better run again in ROH now, like bring him back to have that comedy aspect around? Or is he just going to be used as a jobber whenever we need him?
I was more excited to see Pretty Peter Avalon than I was Atlantis. And I know Mike is a staunch supporter, and I've got nothing against him, but I haven't watched the stuff in CMLL, so I have yet to be impressed by him. And this match just was, I don't want to say underwhelming. I was sufficiently whelmed, I think is the best way I could say for this match. I wanted it to be better. I was happy to see Pretty Peter back. But yeah.
Yeah. Mikey, were you gruntled to seeing Pretty Peter Avalon on your thing?
You stunned him with the question.
Apparently so.
Apparently. Yes, I get grief because I like Atlantis Jr., but I mean, it is what it was. Like, we knew this wasn't going to go the way that we wanted it to anyway. So I'm okay with.
Oh, this is a good start.
It is. Mikey is going to chop in and out. I know that everything's hot there, Mikey. Your modem is working overtime, trying to keep it, kill itself. We'll do our best to get your input from it, but obviously, if you have to duck out or get a nice pack for your modem, let us know. Oh, he did it again. He jumped right out.
He disappeared.
No, he'll be back though.
Okay. Well then, JVL, what did you think of that match?
Well, now that I'm on top, honestly, not always. Trust me. Atlantis is a very good wrestler, but I feel like he's just not allowed to push himself as far as he can when he's in CMLL. What Avalon got out of him, though, was a little more emphasis on his emotion when he wrestles, which he doesn't usually show. It's usually just skill, because Peter Avalon just went over the top camp and actually drew it out of him. So that's what I love what Peter Avalon can do, is to get a better match out of a wrestler that's maybe one-dimensional in certain ways. But we that kicked us off. It was a good kind of palate cleanser from the last week. It was a good way to kind of ease us in. And then we get our favorite people back on our screens. Athena and Billy are having a little meeting talking about giving
an emergency win.
Well, it wasn't an emergency because they wanted to get Lexi to be promoted, a better setup, a better number, and Billy's not having anything. Are we seeing more seeds here being planted for when Billy is eventually going to take Athena's title?
I think the seeds have been planted for a while. They've been deeply rooted, but I think this was a sprout or a nice little spritz of Miracle-Gro on that storyline. it really needed, because it hasn't really gotten legs yet. But I was very happy to hear Billy stand up for herself.
Same. Mikey, we'll be back in a little bit here. My thing, like you said, there's nitrogen for this fertilizer going in there. They've been gone for a couple of weeks. They haven't really interacted as much. The whole Abaddon thing is still on the back burner for whenever they're going to actually fight. So we're waiting for something to happen here. And not only did we get Athena and Billy, we got Queen Aminata, we got Red Velvet. Everything's starting to come back as if they took the week off for All Out, and now they're finally back on our screens. I think this needs to kick into higher gear. There needs to be something else of a turn in it soon, or not a full turn, but just something where Billy purposely makes a mistake, but then like waves it off, like no, of course not, no, that wasn't me. I just accident, whatever. But starts to like test her boundaries is what I want to see with this next, to see where we can
I would like to see that too, and I wouldn't say I need a full turn, but definitely a character shift, if you will, like Billy be a little, take Athena's teachings a little bit more conniving, but for her own benefit, not to benefit the whole Lexi and Athena and everyone, but just for herself.
Well, and do we see Billy going after Lexi at some point down the road for this, like actually taking it to Lexi?
I don't know, because I don't know how they would flesh that out, because Lexi's not an in-ring talent.
Right, but she can still be dealt with backstage. I mean, there's got to be, like, she gets locked in a locker or something, or Dalton Castle returns and she's stuck in a mop bucket with him, something like that.
Lexi in a shark cage match.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past ROH.
I've seen worse.
You know what wasn't worst? And wasn't worse than that. Harley Cameron can actually wrestle. And she took on Queen Aminata in a spectacular women's match. I had a great time watching this one, and I was so very surprised because Harley Cameron still hasn't drawn me in all the way. Jesse, are you becoming a fan of what Harley's doing, or do you feel like
this was my first time seeing her wrestle? My only other experience was when we saw her at the con. I was impressed. I was slightly impressed. I think that her character needs a little more development for me, but at least her in-ring skills are definitely where they need to be. She was taking it to Queen. I knew Queen was going to win this one, but I enjoyed the journey of getting to the end of the match. My only complaint is the same complaint I have about pretty much every women's match anymore, at least over the past 7-8 weeks, is they're not giving them enough time.
They aren't. And to be fair with it also, the thing about timing in ROH that gets me is these are edited. These
they
are
can cut what they need.
Yeah.
And honestly, there were a few matches tonight on this 2-hour show that should have been cut.
I was pretty sure end of hour one was our main event, and they could have split it into 2 episodes, but we didn't have that setup for it, unfortunately. Harley Cameron in general is really gotten to a point where she's still very young in her career and was never a wrestler to begin with. I'm always surprised by how much she's learned just sitting under Soraya's, arm and like being under her wing. Because Soraya, for all of her youth and everything else in this business, has been doing this since she was 9. So
would we refer to that as the learning shrub?
If I'm going back to she's in the ashes of the burning tree because it was Paige at some point, the Phoenix, but still, she then cuts a promo afterwards, which brings out Red Velvet, and we get a little more back and forth. Always good about that. And that's after the next match we had. We at least got time between, but I wanted to get that because Harley showed both her skill on the mic and her skill in the ring tonight, and that was really fun to see.
I also like that they were kind of planting the seeds of having a feud with Harley and Rachel Ellering, because I think that would be really, really good.
Exactly. And that could go across both ROH and up to AEW as well.
Plus, they need to utilize Rachel better, so this would be great for both of them.
Please give Rachel something to do.
And Harley working with somebody as experienced as Rachel would be, again, benefit. It'd be a boon for both of them.
Exactly. So let's see more of her down here. I assume because it's a residency, she's going to pop up a few more times. I always do love her around Halloween when she gets the crap scared out of her by Abaddon, so let's hope that actually happens too at some point. What I skipped over, though, was a squash match, a 3-person squash match. Hi, Mikey!
I didn't commit that one to memory, the Top Flight squash match, because I feel like from here on out, we got more squash matches than we did regular matches.
It got to a point where I wasn't taking down the people they were fighting. I just was
it wasn't worth it.
But
I ran out of spoons on this one.
We just went through Harley Cameron and Queen Aminata. Any thoughts on how Harley's been developing, both as a wrestler and on the mic, as she's been down in ROH?
It's weird because of how she's booked here versus, the other counterpart of certain things. So, I, for one, am here for the improvement of Harley Cameron. And you know what? Might as well give Queen a win here because we knew she wasn't going to win on Wednesday. So
unfortunately, which
Yeah.
seeing her bop around, but again, she won 2 weeks ago, and now she's lost in real time, so it's a little different there. And we were talking about Harley also really does well on the mic as well. So, we're happy what she's doing there. Her and Rachel Ellering need to have a feud. So Rachel has something to do, and there might be some fun stuff out of that. What we had skipped over because we talked about her promo before we got to this, the first squash of the night, Top Flight taking on Vin Parker, Dante Leon, and CD Bennett. And Layla Gray, amazing work on the outside. I will say she's really adding to the group and not just becoming a piece of eye candy on the outside there. I want to see more of her more than I do the three guys. I don't know about you all.
I love
Mike, you go ahead. I've been doing a lot of talking while you weren't here.
I know, I heard. Just don't make that face. I didn't say anything bad. Anyways, yes, I am here for Layla Gray. Yes, I love Top Flight in action. This was what it was, and I was like, okay, cool. It was fun. That was it. I had a fun time.
I had a fun time.
I didn't.
What else is there to say? Like, I'm going to say this for a bunch of squash matches we have, but there is one in particular where we got a return, and I was so happy to see this man back on my screen. We'll talk about it when we get to him later.
Oh, I believe it. Although I will say the next squash match and then the ensuing brawl at the end both confused me and excited me way too much. We have the Outrunners finally back on ROH. We're so happy. Jesse has disappeared. They were taking on Fly Def, which is Zach Mason and Warren J. The match was kind of a nothing burger for the most part. The Outrunners went wild and had a bit of comedy wrestling there. It was the aftermatch that got me on this one because the Outrunners have been flirting with both sides of the field here. They've been both baby faces. They've been heels. So have the Iron Savages, who came out to beat them up, and Jack Jameson kicked them all around. But the infantry saved the Outrunners.
Yeah.
And they had a beef going into Death Before Dishonor, if I believe correctly, right? What's going on here, folks? What do we think?
Are we getting the outfantry now? I'm very confused by this.
The
like
outfantry. Not the
I
in-runners?
was okay with the Iron Savages or Iron Sausages, whatever we're referring to them this week, doing the attack after. They're pushing that heel thing. They're trying to get it over. They're not doing it well, but they're trying, and I'm okay with that. They'll get my support in that regard. But of all people, why the infantry a save, and why did we have a save? I don't even think it was needed. Let the Iron Sausages lay them out and leave.
Literally have anything between them to build a feud between folks. This is building, I think, Mikey, do you see this becoming a three-way match that's going to be happening soon, or a triple threat?
I don't even know if we're getting there. I will say that wasn't me. I was like, oh no,
Mikey!
What? I didn't do anything. The wrestling gods heard me. They found me out, you guys. Anyways,
Jesse doth protest too much.
Fine, Jesse. I see how it is. Anyways,
What?
huh? What'd you say?
Chocolate.
Anyway, you were saying about the weird booking at the end of this match.
Okay, so like, y'all are probably gonna get mad at me for this, but I'm excited. Like, at least there is something. There is something here, and I will grasp onto what little straws we have left of any semblance. It's been hot. I'm going mad lately. Again, the match itself was what it was. I am happy to see the Outrunners actually win because they didn't get to celebrate their victory in peace on the main roster of Collision because, Mox had a death twitch and decided he hates fun and attacked them.
Hey, that's John's line against me. How dare you?
At least it wasn't a danger witch. But anyway, Mikey,
I mean,
Mikey, I gotta ask about this though, because do we think the Outrunners are going to take this over the other two because they are now the highest selling merch sellers in AEW, as of the last couple of weeks?
Tonith Khan would be remiss if he did not let just like what we're doing. Tony has gold with probably your two favorite over funny tag teams right now in the ROH AEW umbrella with the Outrunners and also MXM Collection.
Oh,
I don't know why. Don't tell me. I want to see an Outrunners and MXM Collection feud. Like, that would be the most hilarious thing on the planet. But in regards to what we saw, I've been very upset with how we're handling the iron sausages, as Jesse calls them. Like,
I mean, they are at this point. I mean, look at Jack Jameson's very, very, very light punches and very badly worked attack.
and our poor baby boy Bronson is just like not even coming down to gear anymore. He's just wearing his t-shirt. And I'm just like, he has given up hope, just like the rest of us. But I did get excited because I think Iron Sausages versus Outrunners would be fantastic. I did find it a little perplexing that the infantry came out for the save. But hey, you know what? If I'm being honest with what we have left of the tag team division, I'm fine with this. I'm actually excited for an infantry Outrunners kind of like weird partnership, symbiotic relationship, if you will. I mean, look, even if it leads to matches between the two teams, infantry versus Outrunners is great. But the match I'm really excited for is Erica Lee versus Trish, because that match will slap, in my opinion. Like
it will. I just need the infantry or the Outrunners, probably more than the infantry, to acknowledge that there still is a beef. There still is stuff going on, and not
like
beef
they never
with
settled their feud over boot camp.
right?
Exactly. It's perplexing because I know, again, these are taped way in advance, but I don't know if I trust ROH to set something like this up. That's what's worrying me.
I agree with you.
Hey,
I was not
Jesse.
excited about it. I was just confused.
Yeah, I think that's where we're sitting with it, which was weird to have that in the first 45 minutes, was to be confused after a big match. But Jesse, one of your favorites on our TV screens again, Robin Renegade taking on Angelica Risk, and Angelica Risk, who is a solid local talent wherever she is, almost to the point of that she's following them around. I loved this match. I think both of them have improved greatly.
This, in my opinion, is the best Robin has looked in a long time. Now, of course, we haven't gotten to see her on ROH in a while, but this is the best she's looked in a long time. This was a great match. I was very happy at the match overall. I was very happy at the outcome. 2 weeks in a row, Robin Renegade gets a win. I can't complain anymore.
And she's finally got a consistent finishing move, Mikey. Her flatliner there.
Nice.
But Mikey, with the breaking news that Charlotte is days to months or weeks away to being able to come back, do we feel like the Renegades are going to go on a little tear here, or are they just going to be completely plucked and sat directly in AEW?
Do you want me to give you Dreamer, Mikey, or do you want me to give you probably the realistic version of it?
I like both.
What version do you normally give us? Because I'm tired of that one. Give me a different one.
Well, I'm in the middle, so tough tinkies. You gonna get both of them today?
Tinkies, but not tough winkies. Anyway,
I don't know if I can handle two at the same time.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something else, but it's not appropriate. And yeah. So, anyways, the Dreamer version of me, yes, they are gonna go on a tear. I would love to see them kind of have some sort of feud, but realistically, there's not any other like duo of women down there. But I mean, you could pair anyone together, and I think it would be fantastic. Now, the realist
Andrew's
in me
ears are on fire right now. Just pair any of them together; it'll be fine. He loves that.
Yes, totally. As Andrew is lurking in our comments. Now, the realist to me, when she is cleared, both Charlotte and Robin are going to be plucked. And boys, I hate to say this, but we have been told that there will be more there will be more women added to, Monet Industries. So yes, that is the tea. That is what I've heard, that we are going to expand Mercedes Monet's faction, and it's going to be Mercedes, Camille, and the Renegade twins running roughshod.
Why am I just waiting for Shane Taylor to either like litigate against Monet for like
now on the flip side, having the Renegades work with Shane Taylor Promotions might actually be interesting.
No, I don't want that. I do not want that. Do not speak that into existence, Mikey. I'm respecting your opinion, but I fundamentally disagree with you on that.
That is totally okay. You can disagree with me all you want. I am fine with that. I don't like either option. I want them to be used for something better, but ROH has proven time and time again that they do not.
I still like the concept we talked about a few months ago with having them pair up with Ty Valkyrie.
I don't even know that they need to do that at this point. Robin has proved how much they have improved as a tag team, but also how much as a singles wrestler she's really worked on her style, that I feel like they could actually get away with being a tag team on their own if they could find other tag teams in the women's division that were just cobbled together.
Division of women's tag teams.
Right, or roughshod somewhere else. But they are very, very well set up to have an open path to take a new step forward in ROH and in AEW, and I am here for it. I've been converted to becoming a Renegade stan.
Woo!
Unlike being converted by our next person who had a bit to say about EJ and Duca, Jacoby Watts and Nick Comoroto. Nick Comoroto, who still just had hip surgery, is still in storyline stuff now. Like, what is going on here? We had a good thing set up with Nduka, although with Lee Johnson last week. Are we setting up a tag match between these two guys? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know. This just felt like filler. I wasn't thrilled with this.
I mean, Mike, EJ and Duca has been showing nothing but promise the last couple of weeks. Why are they wasting him?
Because ROH doesn't know what to do or how to book everybody with this. And I'm just sitting here because you have done this is like one of my few curse words for the episode. You've done a piss poor job. Initially, it was, Jacoby Watts was supposed to be breaking down Nick Comoroto by them continuous to lose and him being, not the greatest. We've kind of let that all go. And now they're still
wrapped that up really quickly.
They wrapped it up really quickly. And then all of a sudden, now you have them feuding with the Judge and Big Shouty Lee Johnson just out of nowhere with no builds, like with nothing. And it's like, we just need something to do. Let's put all these people together. And so it's like, you could tell that ROH is struggling and they don't care. So therefore, I do not. I like Mr. Nduka himself. I do agree with you, JBL. He does show promise, but this is not the way we go about doing it. Like, we don't need to include a tag team feud. Like, literally just have EJ go after Jacoby, do like a couple weeks, with this feud, and then that be the end of it. But no, you're trying to make this into a tag team thing. Lee Johnson doesn't need to be there. Poor Nick Comoroto can't do anything right now, so it's not fair to him to drag this out for as long as we can. I don't know what we're doing anymore. The concept of Jacoby Watts is fascinating, and I think there are so many fun directions you can go with it. ROH is doing none of those things, though.
Well, exactly. They're getting in their own way with this couple weeks taped, and they haven't figured out how to make it work for them. And it's just throwing stuff at a wall and then re-editing it together as if it makes sense. Because I feel like this was like earlier on in a run than he did that then they took it away from. But who knows? Jesse's also showing off his comic collection as we're doing this, which is very nice.
I'm multitasking right now. I'm ADHDing hard right now, so.
Understandable. Just as we would have done, except that we were very excited to see The Righteous by themselves taking on James Blackheart and JC Valentine. I'll start with Mikey because, Jesse, I want your opinions after this. Do we see them working more cohesively as a good thing, or do they need to have that Lance Archer monster in the background to feel complete?
Honestly, I think they did better as a trio when it was those two plus Stu Grayson. That's
wasn't the question.
No, I'm just saying. No, I think the Righteous need to be on their own. Lance Archer, I love the man to death, but he adds nothing to the overall group for the trio. And the man doesn't even add anything to himself, period. Point blank. Like, I don't care. Listen, the Murder Hawk monster can cut. Murder Hawk monster, everybody dies, but I ain't afraid of him, man. Like, I'm not. But as far as the Righteous go, they need to be on their own, which, they already have that cohesion as a tag team. They know how to work very well together. They are a legitimate tag team. Like, weren't thrown together. Yeah. They are a legitimate tag team.
Tag team.
Back again.
They are good enough as it is with just them two. And you have something with there, especially post-match. The crowd is invested in them because the whole entire front row did the snaps after the match, and Vincent and Dutch came and joined them afterwards, which was really fun to watch. It's, again, you have all this talent, but you're not utilizing them to their fullest potential. I don't care, and I'm not giving an excuse anymore. I don't care that you're traveling. You have your other shows that travel all over the United States and some international dates, and they seem to be doing okay. Is it because you're not giving ROH the budget? Tony Khan, let's be all the way 100. I was like, yeah, this was false advertising. You gave me a year, and then now it's dog doo-doo. You just wanted that ROH library collection. Let's be all the way 100. You didn't give a shit about ROH. You wanted that library collection, and thus this is the result that we're getting. You gave me a year of fantastic stuff, and it's suffering. But yes.
But Mikey, do they want the library collection? I just want to be clear on this because it was said a couple times. I wanted to make sure of that.
Yes, of course they want the library collection because they don't want another federation to get access to it.
To what?
For this library collection.
Let's see. You are very right in that respect, though, Mikey, as well, where Tony Khan has either forgotten about ROH or in general just was like, yep, let's play out the last bits we've had here, see who we can skim off the top, and then we'll just keep running people through as the best we can, which is kind of what he's doing with Sammy Guevara right now and Arya Daivari, where, both of these men have had big careers, Guevara in AEW specifically, and this was a match. They weren't bad. And then, I don't know. They weren't bad.
I don't, you guys, I don't care about this. Like, Arya Daivari and the Premier Athletes. I don't care about them. I really don't. So anytime the Premier Athletes are in show, and I love Josh Woods of the three of them, but even then I'm just like, I don't care about this. You gave Sammy the tag team championships, the ROH with him and Dustin. I figured we weren't going to do much with them, but hey, you know what? You could have at least had a proving ground match in some capacity. And I'm just sitting here wondering, I'm like, are you going to wait until December for the Undisputed Kingdom to decide they want their rematch clause? I'm like, you could do it now. Like, what is the problem?
They're waiting for Adam Cole. They are waiting for Adam Cole.
Fuck Adam Cole. Like, that ship has gone and sailed, bro. I am done waiting. And, we have to let it go. Right now, this is a shit or get off the pot moment. They need to get on with whatever we're doing instead of waiting for the golden goose that is Adam Cole to return. Him and Evil Uno are doing a video game podcast right now. So that's what Adam Cole's doing with his time while he recovers. This match was fine. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was
sure? Didn't sound that way.
I just don't care because the Premier Athletes are constantly on a losing streak. They're not interesting characters, and you've done nothing with them to make me care about their characters. The talent that those three men have is unquestionably there. They are great wrestlers. They are fantastic, but their characters are cardboard because you have built them up as this generic, like, Alpha Academy 2.0 nonsense.
You mean American made?
Exactly. Well, Alpha Academy, American made. Like, this is the Temu version of Perk Angle if he was a faction. Like, and poor Sammy, man, he returns, and this is what you give him. I mean, he had a banger. He had a banger match against Ricochet this week, but then you give me this
banger match against Ricochet and saved him from Beast Mortos. Like.
We'll talk about that next week, but he's like, am I a good guy? Damn. All right. I got to be the good guy here. All right.
Speaking of someone who wants to be the good guy, but seemingly can't get herself anywhere near that, Red Velvet is interviewed by Lexi Nair about what's going on with her title and, how this is the Mean Girl era being over. I love the interaction these two still have together, but I am so excited for a Red Velvet Diamante feud right now. This is coming off beautifully, and it's giving Diamante the spotlight she needs. Jesse, talk to me about watching Diamante over the last year evolve past just being a bruiser to where she can actually hold down her end of a fight. Like, seriously, this is amazing.
When I first saw Diamante, she was, okay, that's Mercedes' tag partner. That's all I knew about Diamante, but she has really grown to her own. She's really showed it with that was a Texas death match with legit Layla Hirsch.
Woo!
That was one of the best showings I've seen of women's wrestling this year. I'm excited for this. And message to Red Velvet, don't you talk to Lexi like that. How dare you?
That's the number one minion right there.
The audacity.
Mikey, Red Velvet and Diamante have faced up before a couple times in ROH. Do we feel this is a different setup now, both of the championship being involved and also Diamante having grown as a wrestler?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is good for Red because we've been clamoring for her to have an actual challenger for her title since it seems that we're not running her and Billy back again anytime soon. So I think her versus Diamante would be a really good feud for Red, but also too in the same way, I'm glad that Diamante gets to have something to do now that she finished her feud with Layla back at Death Before Dishonor, legit Layla Hirsch. And you know what? I feel like Diamante is being rewarded for holding it down for ROH women's division for the last year and a half or so. So what I'm hoping is that it doesn't end up being like a one-time match and that's it. Let's extend this out to a feud. Let's figure out where we want to go for a direction because both of these women deserve it. Also, I'm a messy person and I love that Lexi is still bitter about everything that went down, which is fantastic. Nice touch. Lexi is fantastic. I love her.
So the other question on this, Mikey, and this is for you two as well, Jesse, is we look at the fact that, like in kayfabe, but also in real life, Kiera Hogan and Diamante are together. Do we see a wild Kiera Hogan in her corner? Because Kiera and Red Velvet also have a huge amount of heat between each other.
Yes, I love a messy triangle.
High school.
Well, I bet it was. Anyways, no, I would love if Kiera found a way to insert herself into this, whether it be in the corner of Diamante or just, as a rogue free agent in all of this, because there is obviously Diamante and Kiera are, dating and are together. Red and Kiera do also have that former baddie thing going on too, because they were part of Jade's posse along, once upon a time as well. So there is history to play with there, ROH. You have a potential gold mine on your hands. You just need to get on it.
Jesse, would you want to see that as well, where we bring real life and weave it in somewhat? Little muted there, Jesse.
Is this better? I feel like the talent would actually perform better when they have kind of the real life story intertwined in there. And let's stop treating the audience like they're stupid. And, it's not so much peeling back the curtain or going beyond the veil anymore. People are aware of that. Let's acknowledge it.
We definitely.
I'm sorry, that phrase is trademarked.
Acknowledge it. Yeah, no, we can't say that out loud. No, stop. Put that finger down. Or unless you want to put it upwards to test the temperature of the wind, because there's a chill in the air as Lady Frost comes in for her squash match of the evening. On Promise Braxton. Again, we get back to this. I love ROH for this in certain respects, where the women's squash matches are still competitive, still showcase the losing jobber so very well, and really reiterate to folks that these athletes are more skilled than most of the men on the roster at this point, both on the mic and everything else. Do we want Lady Frost to get out of her own way and maybe start to actually get into a feud somewhere now that she's back in full regalia?
Absolutely. I think Lady Frost is very underutilized wherever she goes, and I feel that ROH should capitalize on her since, we outside of our champions and Queen's most likely getting plucked and is going to be used more on AEW. So we need to continue to build this women's division we have and create some credible stars that could potentially go after these titles down the road. And I think Lady Frost is definitely at the top of my list for all that. She is fantastic. The fact that she is able to wrestle this good with very few years of ring experience underneath her belt, and she is an inspiration to me because at 38 years old and only been wrestling for like 4 or 5 years at this point, is never too old to be great at what you do. And studying in Mexico has definitely helped her because she brings such a unique style of wrestling. And every time I see her, she just gets better. So ROH, get on it. Book this woman into something good.
Jesse, are you? I know you're a fan of Lady Frost. Do you feel like she showcased more here and a reason for her to be placed into a title picture at this point?
I have never doubted Lady Frost's in-ring ability. It's always been impressive to me, and I was kind of opened up to that more when we had Jack Cartwheel on there as well, because it was kind of like the inverse of that, and they, it worked. But I've always been impressed by her in-ring. I'd like to see more of her character development, but giving her a shot in the title picture would give her the opportunity to showcase her character more.
Very much so. I believe that, as we say with everybody else, everyone needs time, everyone needs space. Give her that ability to do so, and she's going to surprise you every time.
I also had a thought here, because Mikey talked about throwing together tag teams for the women's division. What are we calling Lady Frost and Red Velvet together? Is that Red Frosting?
Yes, I'm here for it. Somebody needs to pick up the slack since Andrew's not here.
My insides hurt from that one, just terribly so. I got diabetes from that one right there.
I'm on the opposite end.
All right, well,
that was brilliant. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 from Mikey. Apparently, Jesse does better than this episode of ROH. Anyhow, we also then get back on our screens the one and only Willie Mack. He gets to come back and showcase why he is the, more so even than Gringo Loco, the most dynamic big man that we have out there right now. I will say, beyond the match with all of his offense, including, the frog splash being devastating in this one, did anyone notice what he had on the back of his trunks?
The chocolate juggalo.
I was like, what in the
is he like a big part of ICP's wrestling?
I was going to say, I was like, what in the insane clown posse is this? I'm here for it.
Does he not know how magnets work? That's all I want to know.
Yeah. Oh, I missed Willie on my ROH screen so much. I love him so much. He's so good.
Best troll in so many ways, and he just plays it so straight-wise or straight-lace. Jesse, being that we appreciate agile big men on this one, has Willie been away too long? Do we need more stuff like this in ROH to kind of break things down?
Willie Mack, for if it would make me happy, and this is probably high on my list of priorities, clearly, if I had a time machine, is go back 8 months and every Lee Johnson match put Willie Mack in instead of Lee Johnson. Tell me how much happier we would be as a society.
Yo, Kyle Fletcher versus Willie Mack would have fed the children for weeks. Like, oh my God, that match would be great.
I agree. If Kyle Fletcher, Commander in here, you've got a bunch of other ones where he can take people on that would actually make him look spectacular. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does for everyone there, and needs to be on our screens more often. I don't know. I wouldn't say unlike the next group, we're seeing the evolution of Beef, maybe the dry aging of Beef as he continues to needle and get in on Anthony Henry here, because he was trying to make sure that Jay Drake was okay and make sure he's all set to go. Do we see, again, we talked about this last week, are we seeing a break when Drake comes back? Does he side with Beef? Does he side of Beef? Does he side with Anthony Henry? How do we see this? How do we see this grilling out and searing together?
Oh my gosh, I hate you for all that.
The side of Beef line was good. All I'm thinking is he showed up super sweaty and nobody said anything about marinade. So
he got the meat sweats, you guys. It's crazy out here. So I'm gonna tell you what I think, and I think this little interaction doubled down, and I think I figured out what side JD Drake is actually going to fall on when he returns, since it is reported that he should be returning fairly soon, I believe. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But I actually think, with as much as Anthony is saying that JD is going to hate Beef, I think JD and Beef are actually going to get along very well, which makes Anthony. So? I think so. I think what's going to happen is that JD's not going to like Beef, but then Beef does something that JD likes. It's like, all right, you cool peoples. And Anthony's like, excuse me? And then Anthony Henry just continues to be in the middle of this meat sandwich, if you will. I love Beef. This is so stupid, but this is exactly why I watch wrestling sometimes. I was just like, you know what? At first, I did not know what to feel with him being sweaty 24/7 every time he's on my television screen. But you know what? I have kind of gotten past that, and I love this weird dynamic. And you can tell that Beef likes what he's doing in terms of this weird character arc that he's going through. He's having a good time, and it shows. And, even though he's playing the lovable goofball, baby face, if you will, to a certain extent, he is also a very, very, very powerhouse type of wrestler. So don't let that fun times fool you, because that man, as we've seen in previous matches, will chuck you halfway across the ring in one go. But
Almost like
I am
Will
here
Dominic
for
in
this.
that way.
For reals. Like, they're having a great time. They love what they do. They love professional wrestling, but you also got to remember those men will kill you just by them throwing you across the ring.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
I looked it up. Willie Mack was the previous JCW heavyweight champion. He lost it in April.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it's a legit title at that point too. That's hysterical. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly, because I know a lot of things about juggalos that shouldn't stand very well. Anyhow, I kind of want to skip over this one because we got a weird promo ahead of it too, with Preston Vance being back on our screens. He takes on
I didn't know who this was.
Think of 10 in the Dark Order, if you remember that. He had a mask on for years.
On top of that, he was also part of Rush's group, Los Ingobernables.
No, he was not. He in name alone was, but they realized, oh, he does the same thing Rush does. We can't have him around anymore. So,
I mean,
he's on his own. I don't care. I don't care about Preston Vance. I don't care enough. And his promo didn't make me care. I don't know about you guys.
His promo skills definitely suck. Let's be all the way 100. They're not great.
Seems in a mask.
Yeah. Oh, he was more interesting when he was still in the mask. But anyways, look, I have a soft spot for Preston. I really do. I don't want bad things to happen to my wrestlers. I'm happy he's in ROH, but I feel like it's too little too late. You should have pulled him when ROH started a year and a half ago, instead of just having him. And who knows where Dragon Listo has went. Like, we forgot about this man, like where he went and all of this too. I'm just like, I want the good things for Preston, but I don't. They need to give me more. They do. I want good. Yeah, I want good things for Preston, because we've been following him since the inception of the parent company that ROH is a part of right now, and I want good things for our former -10. Like,
for Jesse, he used to be 10 in the Dark Order when the Dark Order was at its height, and he was -1's, basically bodyguard and guy that took him around. So when he split, it was a huge thing. He threw his mask at -1, and it was a whole big break. And he
only child cry on television. It was crazy.
But he only ever gets wins on Brody Lee Day, basically, whenever they have that.
All the Dark Order get wins on Brody Lee Day, including Anna Jay, which is unfortunate.
It is. Jesse, what did you feel about this, if anything at all, seeing the work that that Preston put in, and did you feel like you wanted to watch more of him?
No, it was just like, I contemplated going back and watching old WCW videos of Norman Smiley at that point.
Wow.
Props to Norman Smiley. He's amazing. But Preston Vance gave me nothing to care about.
Well, damn.
Would you say the same thing about our next group match, which I was honestly thrown a little bit? I thought it was just going to be a tag match when SAP came out, and I'm like, oh, okay, this will work. I'll see that. But then I noticed there were 3 people in the ring. I'm like, who the hell are they with? And I couldn't put 3 and 3 together until we had Fuego del Sol make his march down to the ring. I don't know about you two. I like the different styles between the 3 of them. I like how they interacted. Did we need a triple threat at this point, or could we have SAP actually do something different? What did Fuego del Sol add to this?
Probably speaking as I shouldn't be, and I'm going to get canceled here in a moment, I feel like this match was almost a bit racist. They're like, I don't know what to do with Fuego del Sol, but he's Simpatico's wearing a mask. Go do a match with him.
Damn. Interesting. So, as the melanated person on this panel,
you're what?
It's not saying much.
Wow. Well, fuck you too.
Well, I'm just saying that John and I have like negative melanin at this point.
That's
both
why
Johnny
I said.
Winter.
Anyways, as the melanated person who also gets interrupted by the white man, like normally we do anyways. No, I'm just kidding. I like SAP.
John, what were you saying?
I like. No. I'm gonna let that slide for a bit. I want to see what goes on here.
Nah, you know what? Forget it.
No, I'm Mikey.
No, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm out. But
fine. Well, it's like it was right before.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, it was so quiet. We were enjoying the piece.
God damn. All right. Well, anyways, let me get out my thought before I lose it and I go insane here. I like SAP. I like Fuego del Sol. I don't think it was entirely racist. Not all the time it's racist when you throw the luchadors together. But I do believe this game, instead of giving racist, it gave me more, who do we have on this roster? All right, you guys are available, so let's throw you on the here and figure it out. So we did that. It was fine. Like, it was okay. It just sucks because you have Fuego del Sol, who has been, constantly involved in the ROH and Collision tapings while you had your residency in Texas. Then I saw this man put away a potential murder in a GCW show not too long ago, which that was fascinating to watch. I'll tell you that story afterwards.
I loved it.
And then just, I like Fuego's energy. He loves what he does. I like Fuego. He is fantastic. But this match was just nothing. I would have rather seen SAP either go up against an actual ROH tag team or something, or you could have Fuego do another singles match. I'm gonna be all the way 100. You could have had Fuego go up against who AR and Commander went up against in Brillante. Like, that would have been a fun match because you had a luchador in that match, but anyways, it was fine. I like both SAP and Fuego del Sol. Don't necessarily need to put them together, though. I like the three of them. I like the three of them separately, but not together as a team.
Understandable. It just in general smacks of ROH is like, we got to get every drop we can out of this guy that's a guest. Stick him, like you said, Jesse. Stick him with the other luchadors. See what he does. And I want Fuego to hang around. He's got a space to be there, but I don't think that they're going to take the time to actually make him worthwhile. Sad. But we actually got a friend of the podcast, AR Fox, on our screens, teaming with Commander of all people, to take on Ariel Dominguez and Brillante RB. And they're good.
Blink and you miss it
on their own. But yeah, no, Mikey, the styles of the two put together, do you feel like either of them complemented each other, or they were just two disparate people stuck together?
No, I like both of them, but not together as a tag team. And you know what? I feel like, okay, I'm going to be honest. We could have just had AR go one-on-one with somebody, and I would have been okay with that because AR is fantastic. 100%. He has paid for the Wembley 2023 situation, I feel like, enough. So the fact that he is coming back to ROH TV in this kind of spotlight is fantastic. I love Commander. I always will forever and a day stand him because he is a good luchador. It's just, we don't use our luchadors correctly. But
die.
I mean, that is also very fair. I don't know. I feel that putting them together didn't really have any synergy between their styles of wrestling.
Synergy. Good
buzzwords.
Yes. Here's the thing. So when you do tag team wrestling, you have to have synergy with your tag team partner. And most of the time when you throw people together, it's not going to work. Very few times have we had thrown together tag teams who stuck it out end up being pretty good because they work out a way to do certain things and to do all this. This was not one of those cases. It was just, hey, we got two guys. They're popular. Let's throw them against some local talent. And then there we go. I'm going to be honest. Like, I know we could probably never see him come down to ROH because, if you are one of the staples of the parent company, heaven forbid they will send you to ROH to go do some stuff. But I feel like that's what it's needed. I would love them to run back Darby and AR one more time. Like, those styles of wrestling, I think it can get behind. Or even, let's have run back Commander and Beast Mortos. Like, that is a style that I'd be here for. Also, because he's getting bookings again and he might be returning very soon, I would love to see a couple of stints from Mr. Vikingo come to ROH. We miss you down here because when he was
glad he's okay. I'm so
glad.
He's okay.
Now that he's healing from his injury and everything, like, I'm ready for the return of Vikingo across my television screen wherever he decides to go, like all over the place. Fantastic.
Hey, we could also have an AR Fox swerve match.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah, that would be great.
Listen, I am here for all of that. Again, we don't talk about the other federation, but it's okay to have some of your main roster stars come over to ROH to do a couple of things down here and do some stints down here. Like to me, the Undisputed Kingdom is a good thing of that. They were in ROH. They do pretty well in AEW for the most part. Like, it's fantastic. It is okay. Let's start building these folks up that you want to continue to use as cannon fodder. At least give them some purpose instead of just be like, hey, they're on ROH. They get wins. Who is this person on my AEW screen? Oh, they lost. I guess I don't care.
Oh, gosh. It's the trouble with having a second brand or a third brand at this point that isn't on the same kind of cycle that you have with the other ones. NXT ran into this for a long time where you just can't play around with that because you never know where folks are going to be in storyline at the top. We also know that the parent company here is starting to slowly devolve into early 2010s WWE. So anything that ROH can do to differentiate itself is probably better in that respect as well, which they're not doing. It's tough when they're not using folks well. Kind of like our next two guys. We had in our main event, Lio Rush taking on Rocky Azúcar Romero. And you know what? I knew watching this that there was going to be a spot fest. I knew that Rocky could take Lio to different places. I got to say, I was mildly bored. I don't know about you two. Like, there just wasn't anything like super. That was. I'm not saying I need like something new from them, but just there wasn't passion in it.
It was a great match. It was a very technical spot fest. I will fully concede that. It just didn't feel like it should have been the main event.
No. Honestly,
I think that's what I struggled to grapple with.
I talked about earlier where we should have had that probably was around either the Righteous or somewhere near there with like Willie Mack. Like, yes, they were squatches, but that's what you wanted there for your main event there. You didn't want this. Even Sammy Guevara at that point, like that felt like the end of the night.
Yeah. This is tough to say because, of course, now that he's kind of matured a little bit, and I know some folks still aren't the biggest fan of Lio Rush, but to me, he has shown that he's matured a little bit. So I like Lio Rush. He was fantastic. He made my mom a big fan when he was at the tapings that we were at back in May. Like, she's a big fan of Lio Rush. We both want his coat. So Leo, I need you to tell me where to get that. And of course, as somebody who watches all of the wrestling, Rocky Romero is everywhere at this point. So of course I am going to love Mr. Azúcar Romero himself, which I'm super excited to see him tonight. More information at the end of this episode because I got to plug that in. But I agree. I feel like this was a fun match for ROH, but this was not a main event spot worthy match. Like, I feel like this could have been like towards the end of the first hour, beginning of the second hour of this episode. And I would have been like, okay, you know what? This is fun. Like, the last hour was kind of dipping a little bit, but now we pick it back up a little bit, but definitely not a main event spot. And I love both of them. But I feel that they were told, hey, we can't have you go like 110% like you normally can. I was like, but let them have a New Japan CMLL style match in ROH. Why not? They can't. It makes me so mad.
Especially also, ROH of all places, because again, you can edit it. All that stuff's there, and there's no stakes.
Well, the other thing too is that who knows when in the actual taping that this actually happened, because this was the main event, but for all we know, this could have started the tapings, because that's how it was when we watched the Palm Springs episodes 2 weeks later here on Honor Club. Like, I told you guys during the review that some of these matches were out of order. They did not happen in the sequential order that we saw.
No, not at all.
So I'm just like, again, I thought this was a fun match. It definitely was fun to watch. It just was not main event worthy.
Jesse, same for you. Like, what did you feel about this?
I mean, that's what I echoed earlier, is that it was a good match. Again, technically sound, at least on the spots there. But it didn't feel like a main event. It felt like it was in the wrong place.
I Ring of Honor, as we've discussed, has the issue of no direction. It's an amalgamation of matches thrown together that, while they might have a tie here or there during the show or one or two things, there's only one storyline that's running right now. And that's Athena and Billy and the minion part of it. How do they want? How can anyone that runs this feel that they're going to make any ground, any traction, become something people want to watch repeatedly and pay money to see, other than journalists and such, if you're not going to give them anything to glom onto and to be proud of, like we were for a full year, where we had long-term storylines, booking we could take, characters we needed and wanted to see every week, things we got excited about, reasons to tell Minnie to watch the damn show.
The absence champion, it's coming up again, and now it's more than just the world champion being absent.
Every single one of them is pretty much absent.
We had two champions wrestle. Neither one were titles or had any stakes for the title.
It's tough for sure. Literally Athena and Billy are carrying what's left of ROH right now.
And as soon as Athena gets pulled up, the corpse will start to rot.
Goodbye, ROH. Hello, AEW Shockwave.
I'm not transitioning.
Just coin the name for it.
No, that's what they bought. They just trademarked that as a show. Supposedly, it's going to be on FS1, called Shockwave. Don't know if it's going to be ROH moving up there as that, but it certainly seems like it in certain ways, or at least basically a redux of AEW Dark. On that sour note and on that kind of bad thought we had there, gentlemen, starting with Mikey and then to Jesse, you have 1 minute, and then give me your empanada rating for what happened this week.
Cool. Mine's going to be super easy. I give this a 6 out of 10. I wasn't as angry at some of this as I was in previous week, but again, I was just kind of like middle of the road, kind of bored with some of this. I love the talent. I think in-ring is always fantastic, but literally that can only carry you so far. And I'm at the end of me caring about just wrestling. So now you're just throwing matches. Now we're back to 2-hour episodes, but it is the sound of the fury signifying nothing, as these episodes have been starting to show in the last couple of weeks. You give me stuff, you give me matches, but do they really have importance? No. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm getting more enjoyment watching the sporadic GCW shows who don't have a dedicated TV shows, but for some reason they make their stories actually follow through, which is crazy. And that's my biggest problem with the ROH, is that outside of Billy and Athena, and I forgot that Abaddon is in this title picture in some capacity, but we haven't seen them. Like, it's crazy. But you literally have champions who are champions that don't defend their titles and who aren't there. So it makes no sense. So this gets a 6 out of 10 for me this week. It was very mediocre at best.
Time. Perfect. Yes. You're right on time for 1 minute. All right, Jesse, your minute begins now.
This was a 5 for me. There was less good than there was last week. Let me go through my process and how I usually watch this to review, just to give kind of the scope here. I usually have it on, and I've got it on 2 times speed, because I don't have the time to sit there and watch everything, which is great because all the promos sound like auctioneers, which is hilarious to me. And if it's something that catches my interest or piques my interest, I'll put it back to either 1 or 1 1/4 speed so I can watch it and pay, real attention to it. And I only did it twice this week. And one was for a squash match. And the other one was for Robin's match as well. So the Outrunners match, or not Outrunners, excuse me.
Righteous match.
The Righteous match, Robin Renegade's match, and for Billy's promo. So 3. Aside from that, I double speeded through the whole 2-hour show, and nothing made me go, oh, wait, I need to go back and look at that further. So to me, it was a 5.
Time. Very nice. I'm going to split the difference between the two of you. It was a 5.5. There were some good high spots, good chances to grow, but I doubt that it's going to grow that way, and so I have to knock it down a bit because I don't trust ROH anymore. I can't. So we'll see where this goes from here. Episode 82 comes out next week, and hopefully we see more of some people that we haven't seen in a while, or at least some matches we care about. Any other final parting thoughts before we jump off here, gentlemen, about ROH or just stuff in general as we're going forward with them?
Let's hope next week's better.
Yep. Yeah, definitely next week is better. And of course, as El Jefe, I have to plug this, but you will be seeing my face in literally 2 hours because I will be with El Buntador and Will as we do the live watch along for CMLL's 91st Aniversario show. It's going to be a great time. We got some matches. Willow is wrestling in Mexico, and that is my most anticipated patch. Her defending her CMLL Women's World Championship against Zuxis. So I think that match is going to slap.
She's losing it. She's losing it.
Maybe, who knows? But I think it's going to be a fantastic match. And also, I'm excited to see how Orange Cassidy does with Lucha Libre style. He's also going to be there tonight. It's going to be fun. So make sure to.
I want to see.
Yeah, so if you want to, you can definitely join us over on the watch along later this evening, or if not, you could catch the replay later. But that's everything. Also, this Sunday, tune in. Me and Will have a TNA Victory Road pay-per-view review. Since we don't have a TNA review show tonight, need to get that out there. But that is it from El Jefe. Stay tuned for the socials for more information on what's to come this week. And check out our CMLL review last night as I dropped the news that we inked 2 new pay-per-view watch-along and reviews in contracts. So it's fantastic.
Always nice. Well, thank you, Mikey, for being here and for plugging CMLL and ROH. Always good because no one's watching. Jesse, pleasure as always to have you here, and I'll definitely see you tomorrow as we keep working on our little fun project on the side, our little D&D game, which we've been playing together and having fun with. But also you out there, I always appreciate when I get to speak to you and be here with you on a Friday, even when I'm feeling weirdly filled with chemicals and other viruses I have to fight off. But until we meet again, until we can go ahead and jump back in the Ring of Honor, remember, love one another, finish your own story. You have the right to. And stay Biconic. And we'll see you in the next video.